Okay, we are going. Well, welcome. And I thought it would be good to talk about, navigating the holidays and just how to even like any kind of social events. I feel like it's always a stumbling block for people and they're trying to either be healthy or to lose weight. I know it's a common question that my clients always have for me. So I thought it would be interesting to people. However, there's not people here, so I'm not sure if it wasn't an interesting enough topic or if they're just busy because it's holiday time and they just couldn't get away from work. But whatever the case might be, we'll do what we usually do. If it's your first time here, I usually talk about some kind of topic for whatever length of time. And the rest of the time, I usually give open to people to ask whatever kinds of questions you have. So it could be related to our products. It could be related to just our topic of the day. It could be related to general nutrition. So anything that as a nutritionist that I can answer for you, I'm happy to answer for you. So the topics usually get pretty in depth lots of the times. Like, the questions always lead to other questions and it's good. So hopefully you'll interact and have some questions. Um, But that being said, so for today, obviously we're in holiday season, Thanksgiving passed, and the other ones are coming up. And it's hard because I don't know about you guys, but it's like gathering after event that involves food and parties, and it just seems like every day or every week there's multiple places where if you're trying to diet, there's temptations, or if you're trying to eat healthy, there's things that just aren't healthy, or there's your favorite family traditional foods and you don't want to miss having them. So there's a good balance that you can strike between sticking with a plan and having what I like to call soul food, which is like food that feeds your soul, things that are family memories or just the things that you love. And it doesn't have to be all or nothing. And I think that's where people get tripped up is that they try to make it like 100%. I got to follow my plan, even during these special events. And then you end up feeling deprived or you end up binging on something else after the fact because you felt deprived. Or it's a topic of conversation. You don't want to be the focus of conversation because I don't know if this has happened to you, but for me, not anymore. People are used to me now. But when I first, changed my eating habits, I was like the topic of every conversation at family events. Like, well, what do you eat? Why do you don't want this anymore? You want my meatballs anymore? It was just like no matter. I mean, I'm Italian, so you can just imagine what my grandparents were like when I started changing how I ate. So I don't know. I dealt with that a lot until I became an actual nutritionist. Until I had like I guess whatever you want to call it, the degree to prove that I knew what I was doing. It was like a constant battle for me. And then once I had the degree, no one questioned me. They didn't want to know how to make it work. And they wanted to know the information then. And then it went from like questioning to respect. It's amazing. But I always dealt with that. So one thing I will tell you, and thankfully this is something I learned early on, is I never preach what I do or even make a big deal of it when I'm at occasions, in public occasions or family occasions, because number one, if people are interested, they're going to ask. And hopefully they ask with a spirit of like genuine curiosity and not like judging. That's always an easier situation to be in. Um, but I don't like make a big deal about it. I never ever like judge someone else for their choices because like I made those choices myself 10 years ago. Like I was doing the same thing and that's just the choice that they're making. So I never like to make anyone feel like they're not eating as clean as I am or that they're choosing something that has like food coloring dye in it or something. Like I just don't. It's just not what that's not people aren't, they don't want to hear that. And like, if people ask you something, then like that's a great time to like take the knowledge you do have and to like just genuinely like educate them because like, well, I just don't have this because I don't really like eating sugar. And if you don't understand why, that's when you say, well, my nutritionist told me not to. Or if you do understand why, then you say, well, because it's a different kind of sugar than fruit sugar. And you can kind of explain like maybe something you've learned about here, something that you've read. And then, it can really help people get healthier. So like if you have a passion for health and wellness and you want to help other people with that, then you have to do it with a spirit of like generosity and like encouragement and not like judgment. So that's one of my tips. But so when you are trying to manage either weight loss or health goals, and there are obviously two different things to manage, but and obviously if you're doing something with your health that where you have an illness, that's a whole separate conversation. So that's not what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about if you just have general like detox or wellness goals, or if you are trying to maintain your weight or lose weight, how you handle these functions. So this is what I do or what I've done in the past or what I've recommended people to do. Don't make yourself crazy, number one, and be prepared, number two. So when I say be prepared, I mean whether that means bringing a dish that you can eat that like other people will enjoy. So there's at least one thing there that is within your realm of how you want to eat. And that's like a tip I've always done. I always make something delicious that I know I love that other people will like, even if it's like healthy. They don't even have to know it's necessarily healthy that they'll love. And then you can have the main portion of your plate can be whatever you bring because you like it. And then you can have room for some other little things you want to try that are maybe generally healthy or maybe not healthy at all. You just want to have a little bit of something. taste other things. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is you can just simply not care at the event and just know that this is one meal of my week. I'm just going to have what I want to have. I'm going to drink what I want to drink. I'm going to have the dessert that I want to have. And as soon as I get home, I'm going to go back to where I was at. And tomorrow morning, I'm going to go right back on my routine that I always do. And it's not like, okay, well, I totally messed up now. I had all this junk. So now, I'm just going to say the week's a loss and I'm just going to have a great weekend and just have junk all weekend. Like, I don't recommend doing that because then you're going to set yourself back. Then that's where you're going to put on some extra weight or you're going to start feeling, cloudy in your mind or get congested or whatever things that happen when you eat junky food, are going to happen to you again. One meal's not going to throw you crazy, but like multiple meals or multiple, I don't want to say the word cheat because that sounds like we're on a diet. And as you guys know, I don't believe in dieting. I believe in having a lifestyle shift. So, but like going off the plan, let's say, it's fine to do it once in a while. It's totally fine. I actually even recommend it because if you don't, you're going to be a crazy person. But to do it and to say, okay, well, I already ruined today. Or if for example, let's say that you're going to a party in the evening and so like make the rest of your day as good as you can. Like do your workout in the morning or have a green smoothie in the morning or have a juice or like maybe bring a juice to the party and drink that while you're having the junk. Like, I don't know, you can be creative and do other things. But the whole day doesn't have to be a loss. And the next day certainly doesn't have to be a loss. So don't let like one day throw you off. Now I say this if you're the kind of person that's able to do that. Now some people, and I've had many clients like this, can't bucket that. Like they can't taste something junky and not crave it for days and days after the fact. And if you're one of those people that's like chronically addicted to say sugar, like if you've finally gotten off of sugar, like processed sugar, and you know that if you have a chocolate chip cookie, you're not going to be able to get that out of your mind and you're going to need to have it for the next like 5 days because you crave it that strongly, then I don't recommend doing what I just said because that's a different kind of personality and there's definitely two different kinds of people and you have to know where your strengths and weaknesses are, right? So if you know that you can enjoy something or a lot of something one day and then be totally fine not having it again for another like month or another few weeks, then that's really what you should strive to do because that's a healthy balance. That's like normal, like just kind of being healthy but enjoying things. But if you know that like you have a trigger food, whether it's sugar, alcohol, like whatever the thing might be that like causes you to go off the deep end with having it like or craving it a lot, then I wouldn't put yourself in the position where you're going to have those things. In that case, I would be extra prepared and I would bring extra stuff or eat before you go. So you're not starving when you get there. You're not going to grab the junky food. That's another really good tactic is being not hungry when you get someplace. Like eat a nice balanced meal before you go somewhere. And then you have like just a little bit of something when you go there just to be social and eat. So it depends if you're going to like a sit down dinner or just like something where you're standing up and having appetizers and drinks or something. So that one part does take knowing yourself well enough to be able to make that kind of a judgment call. Oh, is that my friend Lori? Hi, welcome. This is a cool story. I want to divert for a second to tell you guys this cool story. So Lori is one of our customers at Raw Generation. It turns out she goes to my beach club around where my family goes. We had no idea. And so we're writing to each other and she's on one of these calls and she says, she heard me mention beach club at the Jersey Shore and then we realized we knew each other. Well, we don't know each other. We went to the same club and we met over the summer and it was so cool to meet each other. So anyway, I love
in the flesh.
Yeah, in the flesh. It was very cool. So anyway, I love meeting you guys. These calls are my favorite calls, even when they're small like this. Like I just love talking to you guys. So, all right. So where was I now? So I already kind of answered the question of how to handle being a guest at family gatherings. And that's part of what I was saying was not to judge other people or not to make a big deal about what you're doing, just to kind of quietly eat what you want to eat and just be social and just don't draw attention to it unless you want to. Like, I don't like to draw attention to the things that I eat. I don't like when I changed over to being eating an almost all raw diet, I didn't tell anybody for like a year. I just would put other stuff. Sometimes I'd even put other stuff on my plate and just leave it there just so I wouldn't have to answer questions. I just didn't want to have to answer the questions. And I didn't trust myself enough at the time to have enough like ammo to explain it to someone. So once I felt confident in my decisions and knew that they were working and like I had total just confidence in myself, then I didn't care. And it became not a big deal to me at all. But in the beginning, I just was like, I'm just getting my feet wet with this and I'm trying a new kind of lifestyle. And I don't want to start doubting myself because that's what happens. I feel like, I don't know if you feel like this too, but food is one of those things where you get judged a lot. So like people think they know everything about food and there's so much misinformation and so much contradictory information. Some people think that you shouldn't have anything high glycemic. Some people think that you shouldn't have gluten. Some people think that you shouldn't do this. And like, they're very vocal about what they believe is the right kind of food. And if you're not doing it, they're like, oh, you're eating that whole banana? Like that's so much sugar. It's not going to make you gain. They have like these thoughts and they just like blurt them at you, especially if you're trying to do something off the beaten cuff or something different. So for me, I handled it in the beginning by just not drawing any attention to myself and learning enough. So I had like total education to support my decisions. That is just my personality though. But then, like I said, after the fact, and it was just like my lifestyle. Like I don't shy away from anything anymore. I just tell people, or they ask me, or it's like, oh, what's Lisa bringing? I want to eat whatever she's eating because I want to be healthy like her. And they see that I haven't gone to a doctor in 18 years. So at some point you realize, well, I want to try that. And you kind of live by example, you know? Um, so how to enjoy your favorite holiday foods without guilt. So I kind of already touched on this. My take on this is that I bucket this and I call this soul food. So unless you're in a situation where you are trying to heal a condition, in which case you might not want to stray. I wouldn't. If I was like trying to heal a chronic illness, autoimmune disorder, cancer, or something like that, in those situations, I probably wouldn't stray even for that kind of stuff because that to me is like I know everything I'm eating is healing my body. And I don't want to put something unhealing in my body. But if you're just trying to be healthy or just trying to lose weight or just trying to maintain your weight, there's no reason why you can't have your soul food. And it's just that same mentality of being able to know that you can go back to your habits as soon as the meal is over or as soon as the event is over, or not to go totally crazy and just have like maybe a taste of your favorite things. Maybe not have like 10 cookies, maybe just have 1 or 2 cookies. So there's you can strike kind of like a happy medium with that, I think. How to plan your menu when you're hosting an event. So this is interesting. And I had a client ask me about this recently, which is why I put it on the list. She was struggling because she's been kind of following one of my protocols for like a year and a half now. She's hosting an event coming up. She's like, what do I do? Like, should I just make all healthy stuff? Like, I wouldn't if I was you, because people aren't going to be expecting to have all healthy stuff when they come to your house. But I would make your foods with healthy ingredients. Like I would choose and I'd buy a healthier butter and a healthier salt and healthier oil because I don't keep any unhealthy stuff in my house. So if I'm cooking even a quote unquote unhealthy meal, it's still made with healthy ingredients. Like if I'm making stuffed shells for my family, which they love, I'm still making it with organic sauce and organic onions and olive oil. And so the basis of that meal is not nearly as unhealthy as when you're getting it like at an Italian restaurant. Right. But I would still make your things that you're comfortable making. I wouldn't try making new recipes for company because that's when you find like you have flops that, I wouldn't recommend. I would say like if you have tried and true recipes that are healthy, that are also delicious, then go for it. Include them with your meal. But I would say make the things that you're comfortable making, make them healthier ingredients and just have like healthier options for as part of it. And I wouldn't, I mean, that's just me. I never assume. And people come to my house knowing that I'm going to have both options. Like I always have healthy things out, always, because I'm eating too. But I always still make the favorites. Like I'll still make a stuffed stromboli, and I'll still make things like my family traditional foods, but just like I said, with healthier base ingredients. So now, before I kind of go and give you any recipe ideas, do you want to talk about anything more? Have any questions? No. Is anybody doing a cleanse pre-holiday cleanse or post-holiday cleanse?
Yes.
Oh, which one are you doing, Catherine?
Well, actually, we're Greek Orthodox, and so typically we're in a nativity fast anyway. So that means if we follow the fast, then you eat vegan anyway. And I just find it hard to do that at this time of the year when you're traveling because we have, grace times at Thanksgiving and when you're traveling. But I found that this might keep us actually on the fast to eat clean and because like do this and this because we're very regimented and
Right.
so it would help us kind of get through that and then also then in a couple months do it again before during Lent. So this would be a good thing every time we do our fasting to do that plus add the juices and the raw food, the stuff to our normal diet in between.
Right. So when you're fasting,
So
you can actually have juice and stuff. That's great then.
yeah, it's just we don't eat, it's not a fast from food, it's the church fasts from things that were given to us that are good, like meat, eggs, and dairy. How we choose to be part of the fast is up to each person's dietary needs or medical needs or what you want to do. So, because my husband had a heart attack a year ago, we haven't done a whole lot of fasting away from meat or eggs, making sure it lean proteins and so forth. But I'm in postmenopause and I'm finding it after a parasite cleanse, still struggling to get my metabolism going. And now coming back from my dad's house, everybody was sick, and so they gave it to me. It was a wonderful gift.
Oh, no.
So that's why I'm not showing myself, because I'm now I have this head cold, and so I'm just getting ready to prepare to start, like, in a couple of days now that we're home. Get
Okay.
ourselves ready to start. He's going to do the protein one because
Mhm.
I feel he needs more protein.
Right.
And then I'll do the normal cleanse, and then the I guess the skinny cleanse after that. So I have the 10-day protein for him,
Okay.
and then 1 week of the skinny cleanse, and then I have the 5-day for me plus then the 2-day skinny cleanse.
You mean the skinny method?
Yeah,
Nice.
whatever. Yeah.
Have you
So
done that before?
have I done what?
The skinny method before?
No. So basically, this is I just kind of happened to be looking to see, because when it all showed up at the house, I threw everything in the freezer, and now I have no idea which goes with which kit.
Oh, no.
So I've been trying to go, oh my God. And so then I happened to see this email, and that's why I clicked on it to see what was going on.
You know what? If you want to shoot me an email, Lisa Testa at Raw Generation, I'll happily tell you what the assortment is, so you know. I can
Yeah.
I can send it to you.
We just kind of like it got here right before we left out of town. Literally, we threw it in the freezer and we left.
Okay. Well, at least it's safe in the freezer. I think you're going to love the skinny method. That became an overnight bestseller after I launched that a couple of years ago now. Because it's really like it's kind of the best of both worlds. You're kind of quasi cleansing, but you're also eating normal meals. It's really a lifestyle system. You can do it forever. And it was the culmination of basically what I teach my clients to do, but I turned it into a kind of a juice related product, because I'll have my clients eat light to heavy, which is what the system teaches you to do, mostly fruits and vegetables during the day, and have your heavier meal in the evening. And so with the skinny method, you're kind of having your meals provided for you up till dinner with some room for snacking and maybe a light lunch. And then you're making your own dinner, which is a clean health dinner, but like heavier. You can have your fats and stuff then. So I think you'll like it. It's very, very sustainable. People really do well with it. And you usually lose 2 to 3 pounds a week, which is nice weight loss if you're trying to lose weight. So hopefully you'll like it.
Yeah, I figured it also helps during this time of the year to stay not I was hoping not to get sick, but
It will definitely help with your immunity too, because you'll be having a green juice every day, which is like the best thing you can do for your immunity, getting that
Right.
chlorophyll every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was that email again?
Oh, it's Lisa Testa, my name, at
Okay.
rawgeneration.com.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, I thought I would tell you guys a couple of my tried and true healthy recipes that I make pretty much at every family gathering, and people ask for them now when they're coming. I probably should have typed them up before this so I could just show them to you. But if you want to grab a pen, you can write them. They're pretty simple. Or if you want, I could probably also type them up and send them to you after the fact, because there's so few of you here. That's not that big of a deal. My most asked for recipe is one of my sangria recipes. I kind of make a sangria at almost every family function, like for different seasons. Like I have an autumn sangria or a summer sangria or a fall sangria. I change them up, but the basic recipe is similar. And I just change the flavor in it. And I find it to be like, I'm not a big drinker at all. If I have like a glass of wine for the case of a whole night, like once every couple of months, that's pretty much my limit with alcohol. But it's fun for gatherings because people do enjoy it, and it's definitely healthier than having like a mixer or having beer, right? So, so what I will do is, depending on how many people are coming, like say you're having 20 people, I would take 2 large bottles of. I usually get a sulfite-free organic wine. So I think I'll tell you the fall one that I've been making, the apple sangria, because the apple one is kind of good for all the seasons. I will take 1 or 2 large bottles of Pinot Grigio, and that's the base of it. And then if you like it a little stronger, you can add some. What I get is, by me, we have a local place that does apple brandy, Laird's apple brandy, and so I think it's actually available nationwide though, but I know it's local where it's made to me, so I choose that, and I'll put a little bit of that in there. And then I will get a non-sweetened seltzer, and I'll add some seltzer to give it some fizz. And then I will add some organic apple juice or apple cider. So what I usually get is organic Honeycrisp apple cider from Trader Joe's. It's just plain apples. There's nothing else added to it. And I add that to it. So we have like 2 parts wine to 1 part each seltzer and juice. So it's not super strong. And then I usually put like a little 1/4 part of the brandy in there. And then to that, I get some organic agave nectar. So I don't use agave for anything pretty much aside from this recipe, but it mixes in so much better than other natural sweeteners. You can also use maple syrup, but it's kind of almost too sweet. So I use agave, and I use the organic blue agave also from Trader Joe's. That's what I have close by me here. And I'll put about 3/4 of a bottle of that in there. And then I squeeze the juice of 2 whole oranges in it, and I put cinnamon sticks in there. And for fruit, I dice up usually a green apple, like a pink apple of some kind, like a pink lady apple, an orange, and I'll put cranberries, sometimes a half of a lime, and I'll put all that in there. And if you make it like a couple hours before your company comes, it gets all kind of like, mushed together and like delicious. And it's just easy. It takes not even 5 minutes to make it, and it's always a crowd pleaser. So that is my healthy sangria recipe. Does anybody need me to repeat anything? Nope. And then another one I make is I make a vegetable dip that is non-dairy. It's cashew based. And you do have to tell people because there's not allergy, but if there's no nut allergies, people can't tell the difference. I never know that it's not actual vegetable dip. And I like it because I can eat it too with everybody. And it's just so much healthier than having the sour cream based dip. So to make the cashew dip, now, if any of you have the Stay Skinny method at home or the Signature Reset at home, you already have the base recipe for this in that like extra recipe book that comes, and they're called Cashew Base. But I'll tell you how to make it now in case you don't have those programs. So to make that, you're going to need a blender, like a strong blender, like a Vitamix style blender, or the Blendtec would be the best. You can also make this in a food processor, but it really works better in a high speed blender. I think you can also probably make it in the Ninja. The Ninja's pretty strong. You're going to take a pound of raw cashews. I buy, again, from Trader Joe's, I buy the raw cashew pieces because they're cheaper. And they work, it doesn't matter if they're whole cashews or not because you're blending them up. I just never get them roasted, always just raw. So you take 1 pound of that, and then you're going to cover that with water till it's about this high over the cashews. You see that? That. So the cashews are totally covered with water and this much over them with water. Then you're going to squeeze the juice of 2 lemons into it, a liberal amount of salt, garlic and onion powder, and then probably 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. And you blend that up in the blender, and it makes it should be completely smooth, creamy, like almost like a mayonnaise consistency. And that is my cashew base. And I use that for dressings. I use that for dip. I use that to make all kinds of stuff. I make like you can make a sour cream for like a baked potato with it. You can make all kinds of stuff with it, and it freezes really well. So I always make a big batch, and I take some and use for that week, and I freeze the rest, and it just thaws, however you want to do it. So that is the base for the dressing. And then to make a vegetable dressing, I would just add like herbs to it. So like maybe some dried oregano, some dried dill, and apple cider vinegar. And then I would add some honey and a little extra virgin olive oil, and I whisk that all together. Maybe a little bit of mustard, and that makes a delicious like herb dressing. And you really cannot tell that it's not sour cream. It's so much healthier for you. So any questions about how to do that one?
Wait, sorry, I have a question. For the vegetable dip, you're saying you also use the cashew base as well, but just add herbs, or is that something separate?
No, the cashew base is the base of the dip. So like the cashew base, I use for lots of different things that I make in general, but that base that I told you just now how to make is the base of the dip. So I take that plain white base, and then I add like herbs and stuff to it to make it have a flavor. So you can, I mean, you can also make like a sun-dried tomato dip. You can just like take that same dip and blend in some sun-dried tomatoes, like with the olive oil they have like at the store in the jar. You can add pesto to it. You can make any that flavor can like totally build upon. You can build upon it with whatever thing you want. So I make all different kinds depending on like the occasion or what I want to do.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And if you want to make that into like a dressing, like a creamy dressing, you would just cut it. So you would cut it with like parts of after it's like made. I would put like 2 tablespoons, say, in a bowl, and add some water, and a little vinegar and olive oil, and like maybe balsamic vinegar. You can make a honey balsamic, a creamy balsamic. You can make like a ranch dressing. You can make a honey mustard dressing. You can really make any kind of dressing with that. It's the base. And you just use it in place of where you do mayonnaise. So it's pretty neat. When I had my food business prior to this job, I used to just have my own business. And so I had a ton of clients that I would consult with, and I also had a food service, and I'd make meals every week. Lord, do I not miss that. But anyway, I did it locally for many years. And I would make 8 or 10 pounds of cashew base every single week just to make all the raw dressings and dips that I would make for people. It was crazy town. My Vitamix, my Vitamix, let me tell you, if you don't have a Vitamix, you guys, I should be an affiliate. I've sold hundreds of them. I've never been associated with the company at all, but I have had them I have now 3 of them. I have one that I use for trade shows when I do webinars. I have one in my kitchen that's my regular one, and I have one that I used to use for my food business. The food business one has been through the ringer, and I tell you, like, I don't know how it's still working, but it works just like brand new. Those things never break. So they are the best investment. If you are not sure what to ask for Christmas, I am the opposite of a gadget person. I do not have a lot of kitchen gadgets. I have that and like my lemon squeezer, and that's the only gadgets I use. It is the best thing I could have ever bought. So I could not recommend it more highly. And if you want to make things like healthy ice cream, you can make soup in it. I mean, you just put like chicken broth and vegetables and blend it for 4 minutes and you have steaming soup. It's kind of crazy. You could do such cool things with it. So super easy to clean, also much easier than a juicer, which is why I'm all about smoothies and not juicing in my own house. Obviously I love juice. I work for a juice company, but I don't make them myself. I blend at home. So let's see what's on my list. Oh, the last recipe. Oh, thanks for coming, Fran. It's so nice to have you always. My salads have become like believe it or not, like a family and friend favorite. My sister-in-law called already and asked me to make my kale Caesar salad for Christmas. And pretty much people always ask me to make salads because I don't make them boring. Like people always ask me, well, don't you get tired of eating salad? I eat a lot. I probably have salad every day, almost every day of my life for the last 20 years. But I make them always so different and like innovative, and I never get bored of them. So like, and I think people really enjoy having like a different kind of like a restaurant kind of quality salad, but at a family gathering. So one of the ones that I make most frequently that people absolutely love, I call it my harvest salad. I call it that. And so it depends on how many people you're having. Like I just made it for Thanksgiving, and that was like for 15 people. So for that amount of people, I made a big tray of it. And so that took 4 packages of romaine hearts, which I buy because it's just easy. And I just, that's the base. And then I got 1 bag of the organic spring mix, and I mixed that in with the romaine. So that's like the kind of the base of the whole salad. Then I got some scallions. You can do chives or leeks if you want, whichever. And I just thin sliced just the green part, not the really strong onion. Me personally don't love onions that much, like a little bit of onion. So I just did the mild part. That's usually safe for company also, because you don't want to assume. Like I never do really strong, like they're called polarizing flavors, like flavors that people like either love or hate. I try to stay away from those when I'm having company. I just try to do like just generally pleasing flavors, if you know what I mean. Like I wouldn't do something with like say cilantro for company because I might love it. A lot of people hate cilantro or coconut and things. I try to stay with kind of simple flavors. So the mild part of the green onion, I'll put that on there. And then I do what's called ribboning carrots. So to ribbon a carrot, if you've never done that, you just take your vegetable peeler and you're peeling ribbons off of your carrot into your salad. It takes minutes. It doesn't take a long time. And I'll just make carrot ribbons, maybe 2 or 3 carrots worth for a huge salad. You can also put them in the food processor and grate them, which I love the texture of, but then you got to get another tool out and wash another tool. I always try to avoid having numerous things to wash. So I'm trying to give you a simple way to do it. So this whole salad took me maybe with the dressing 15 minutes to make. Very simple to do. So the carrot ribbons are in there. Then I get red cabbage, which I feel like is an underused vegetable. I never see people use it. I use it all the time. I absolutely love it. And it brings such a pretty vibrant color, a purple color to salads. So if you've never used it, you buy purple cabbage, take off those like 3 or 4 outer leaves, and then you don't have to wash it. You just cut it right from there because it's just totally encased, And so I shred some red cabbage in there just to make it look pretty, and it's also delicious and really good for you. And then after that, I will add the like special stuff. So sometimes I'll do, I always do like say either pecans, or I'll do salted pistachios, or I'll do walnuts, depends on the dress of the salad. And then I'll put a fruit of some kind. So either I do diced green apple, or I'll do blueberries. The blueberries are like one of my favorites. And I do that for the summer all the time, but it works any time of year. This time of year, I'll usually do apples. And then I usually do like the fruit juice sweetened dried cranberries. So if you go to like a store, like a health food store or Whole Foods, you'll find cranberries that don't have sugar. They have sweetened with apple juice. I buy those, and I'll put those in there as well. And that's it. It's so simple sounding, but it always, I mean, I'm telling you, there's never any of my salad left, and I make a lot, and it just always goes. So I have a feeling yours would do the same, but the key is to make a really good dressing. Now to do the dressing, you do not have to make that cashew base I was just talking about. For this dressing, I just do a nice vinaigrette, so it's super easy. And sorry I don't have measurements for you because I don't measure anything. I'm the worst with measuring stuff. I just eyeball everything when I cook. But so what you just want to, if you get a nice big clear bowl, what you want to look for is like say 2 parts extra virgin olive oil to 1 part vinegar. Don't make it too vinegary, and then it's like overkill. And I'll usually add like the juice of a lemon as well, because you have 2 sources of acid there, so you don't want to go crazy with either one. Then a good amount of honey, more than you think. Usually the problem is people under season. So you want to makes things a little sweeter and a little saltier than you think is actually healthy, because it's totally fine. It's nothing unhealthy about using healthy salt and healthy honey. I don't skimp on them at all. So a nice big amount of honey, like I'll take off the top and I squeeze it, like that. And then I do a very generous amount of salt. I use Redmond's mineral salt, Redmond's real salt. By far the best tasting, the best I found for you as far as health goes. I mean, you can find a study against every kind of salt these days with metals and things. I've never found one that's totally 1000% clean, but so I kind of rotate them, but that's the one I use right now. Then some cracked black pepper and onion powder. That's like a secret ingredient. People never use onion powder. It's delicious. It's just it has a really unique, delicious flavor, and it works with sweet or savory foods. So salt, pepper, onion powder with the honey. Then you have the olive oil, the vinegar, and the lemon. That's pretty much your whole dressing. You're going to whisk it really well with a whisk. You can add a little water if you want to thin it, and you can store that in a mason jar. That'll stay in or out of the fridge for weeks and weeks and weeks. It stays a long time, at least 2 weeks. And when you dress the salad, start with less, because people tend to overdress a salad and then it's like, ugh. So start with less, mix it, add a little more, mix, then taste it. If it tastes good, you need a little more salt, a little more this, whatever. But that's my key. And if you serve a salad with no dressing on it, this is if you're a host. I don't know how often you host parties, but this is what I found. If I don't dress the salad, not nearly as much goes. If I dress it and mix it, it almost always all goes. So why that is, I don't know. People are lazy, I guess. So that's my tip there. So that is the end of my list of how I would navigate the holidays, or what I recommend to my clients to navigate the holidays. So do we have questions about that? Do you have other just general questions about nutrition or health that you want to talk about? Because we really have like 25 minutes left in this call, and there's only such a small group of us. So you really can have the floor all to yourselves if you want, or if not, we can just end early too. But I mean, it's nice. It's not too often that I have such a small group of people. So usually people are kind of waiting for their turns for questions.
Hi, I have a question or two while I have you here. I've been doing a green juice every single morning. Instead of like doing a 2 or 3 day cleanse, because I just started doing it once a month and then it became a lot. So I started doing one green juice every morning. Does it matter if you have coffee first? So first I'll work out early, then I'll have coffee when I get to the office, and then I'll have a green juice. Does it matter coffee or green juice first?
Okay, so there's two things. If you want to have better workouts, it does make a difference. And
Okay.
we've been working, this is kind of cool that you're talking about this right now, because we're working with a performance. This man is like the international powerlifting champion right now. And we're working on doing a performance line of drinks with him. And so he's been teaching us a lot about how to hydrate properly before and after workouts. And we've all been trying it and noticing differences in our workouts. So if you hydrate before your workout, and he recommends using something like with coconut water or something before a workout, you're having a better workout. And then right after, if you replenish right after, say with a green juice right after. So for the workout's sake, it's better to have the juice before the coffee. And even actually from like a health standpoint, it's better for your gut not to be hit with that acid of coffee like before anything else. So in the past, I would recommend like maybe having the juice on your way to the office or something, or having a second juice, like having one on the way to the office and your coffee. And then if you want, you can always have more juice later or something. You really can't overdo it with the juice. So I would say, generally speaking, having it before is a better plan.
Okay, check. And I think I had another question while I have you. I'm excited. I'm like, I don't even know where to begin because I have a chance to ask you a question. And then, like having a hard time with lunch because I'm in an office and they supply food for you, or you can order what you want. So I'm doing the light to heavy. And I've been doing quinoa, like greens, fruit, vegetables as much as I can. Can you do quinoa for breakfast too if you want? That's fine too, right?
You can.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, is there anything on it? It's just like plain. It's not like cooked with oil or anything like that.
No, plain, and then sometimes I'll add like a little bit of maple syrup for like sweetener.
Okay, so you're kind of doing it almost in place of an oatmeal in that case.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
just to switch it up because the oatmeal sometimes like I get bored of it. And then always trying to do it at lunch just to like fill me up so I'm not having like a carb or anything. Try not to have like white stuff. Okay.
To do that. I mean, it kind of depends on what your personal goal is. Like, is your goal just to be healthier, or are you trying to like hit a weight goal? Like, do you have a certain goal in mind?
Healthy and stay you know, not gain any weight, if you will. I mean, it would be great to lose a few, but like, I don't, you know, um, trying to be healthy and not gain weight, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I feel like this time of year it's more like common to want something warmer in the morning. Like whereas in
Yeah.
the summer, like in the summer, to me, it's just all about having fruits and juice and just smoothies and not having anything like heavy and cooked till like lunch and later. Like that's just me how I live my life. And I think that it works for most people when you're warm and you're hydrating stuff. But in the
Right.
winter, of course, you want warmer stuff. So if you're a person that craves warmer, more filling stuff in the morning, that's definitely a good option for you. You can also do like, of course, herbal teas. They're warm in the morning. And I do that lots of times if I'm having my smoothie right now and it's cold and I don't like having cold stuff, but I have a cup of tea next to it, you know, and I'll have
Okay.
that to counteract it. For the sake of your digestion and just overall health, it's always best to have like raw hydrating stuff in the beginning of the day. It just is. Like number one, your greens, it's great having the green juice every day because you know that alkalizes your blood. I think I talked about that in the beach actually. Like it gets your whole body alkaline, and that's what prevents illness, you know, disease, inflammation. It does all the good stuff. So that you're doing that already every day, that's awesome. I know it's not the best fruit season right now, but it's if you're going to have fruit, like I would have that maybe before the quinoa, like kind of work your way into the heavier stuff. Because quinoa is certainly a lighter food than heavy food, but it's heavier than say fruit. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Okay. Yep.
I would say work your way into that and have that like a little bit of a later type of a morning thing if you're going to do that. Um, and Yeah, but it's certainly a good choice. I mean, another good choice is like a sweet potato. That's like a warm, nourishing sweet food
Yes.
to have. And that, so you can, I mean, I have them in the morning all the time in the winter.
Yeah.
It's not breakfast food, but I love them in the morning. I want
I
some
think I'm going to start bringing them to work because we eat them a lot for dinner. Like I'll use that with avocado instead of like toast, like for an avocado toast. And my daughter loves it now, and she finally likes avocado. But yeah,
good.
I feel like I should bring them into the office because they have junk. Like there's so much stuff here, but it's not. You
But you,
know, it's yeah, it's not ideal. Okay.
it's nice that they provide that stuff for you. But yeah, if you want to take your health into your own hands, unfortunately, you gotta
Yeah.
kind of do that because most, it's so rare to find any kind of like pre-made food that's actually made with not seed oils and not made with junk,
It's
like, you know.
right. It is hard. And to echo what you were saying earlier about when you're at places, just to kind of be low key with your health food choices, like that's definitely it has definitely worked. And then some people ask more questions and we talk about it on the side, but just kind of do your thing. And that's worked too. And I try not to draw too much attention to it because I just need to do my thing without, you know, and you don't want people to feel like you're pushing it on them, but they know. Then sometimes we talk about it after. And the whole light to heavy thing is like mind blowing to people. They're like, what are you talking? Like, it's like they've never heard it. What are you talking about? We need to talk about this later. So it's crazy how, and that's why I was asking about the quinoa, because I think you've said before that that is okay to have earlier in the day, like if you need to. Because like I just crave carbs and pretzels. Like it's nobody's business.
Way
So
better than
that's how.
those. Yeah, those carbs. I mean, one of the things to keep in mind too is if you're chronically craving carbs, you probably need more fruit in your day. It's just
I
it's your
I
body's,
definitely need more fruit. There's no question. Yeah.
you know, that your body's signaling that. It's totally fine that you're replacing it with like complex carbs like that. Like the whole grains, the rice, the quinoa, and oatmeal, and the potatoes. Those things are totally fine to have as much as you want. But just so you know, for your own mind, your body's craving those things because you're fruit deficient.
Yeah.
You know. Again, it's a hard time of year to do a lot of fruit because it's just not the, I mean, until citrus comes in pretty soon, then you have the good citrus and then it's easier again
Right.
to eat fruit. But and I'm struggling right now. Like I have like 4 kinds of fruit that I'm rotating right now, which is annoying.
Yeah.
Kiwis, bananas, apples. I'm like,
Right. I know.
my summer
Thank you.
fruits.
Right. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, I'm happy at any time. I'm glad you're here.
Since you were talking about fruit, was reading some of the things to get started, and you were talking about, I guess, bananas and
Yes.
not. I've always eaten them when they're. I don't like them when they're real sweet and brown. They're just too sweet. I've always had them right when they come out like green, since they weren't so starchy or not so sweet as.
Must be your first time in one of my calls, huh? Everyone
Yes,
here.
this is the first time ever. Yeah. So I'm like going, okay, this fruit thing. You say eat more fruit. I'm like, that's great. But now I have bananas I bought today and I'd be over there eating those, but they're not brown yet.
Yeah, so that's bananas of all, I mean, all fruit should be eaten when it's ripe. For many reasons, for the nutrition, for the satiation factor, even for the health factor. But bananas are the most improperly eaten fruit that I've come across in my journey as a nutritionist. They should never be eaten when they're green. They shouldn't even be eaten when they're fully yellow and they're still green on the stem. They should be eaten once they start to brown speckle. And they do not have to be brown and smushy and like sicky sweet. They don't have to be. But once that chemical conversion has happened, so basically what happens is a banana is naturally a starch and it converts from a starch to a sugar. And the way it's becoming a sugar, thanks Michelle, the way you know that it's turning into a sugar is that when it starts to brown speckle. So even when the speckling is starting on the banana, it's ripening. Okay, so but you don't want any green on the stem. So I would never ever recommend eating a banana unless it's fully ripe. I would actually sooner just not eat than have an unripe banana, because when you're having a starchy banana, it's going to be constipating. It's going to not be good for your digestion. It's going to cause bloating. It's also like non-nutritious for you. So you definitely want it once it converts to a sugar. It's so much healthier, and that's how we're meant to eat them. And it actually converts them being more laxative and better for your digestion. It's really, really healing for your gut when you have a ripe banana, but you don't have to have them overripe. They just have to be ripe. So one thing I recommend, Catherine, is my favorite way to eat bananas actually is frozen, believe it or not. So like I let them ripen on the counter until they get that brown speckle, and then I peel them and I put them in gallons of Ziploc bags. Like I cut them in 3 or 4 pieces and I blend them into ice creams and smoothies almost every day. And they're like, when you blend a frozen banana, it becomes like ice cream consistency. It's amazing.
Right. That's I usually sweeten my protein shakes with, but my concern was always, now that my husband was told, and even I on our blood work, that we need to be careful because we're pre-diabetic, but we've also been doing parasite cleanses, which can change your numbers as well. So my concern was if they're too sweet, that we've been told, of course, doctors say one thing, don't eat them this way because they're too high in sugar then.
Yeah, so this is the thing, and I obviously you haven't been in my calls before, so you don't know all my theory, my take on all this stuff that others probably do. Conventional medicine, and I have a lot of respect for my brother's conventional medicine, and my uncle is too, but they are not taught nutrition. They literally get one course of nutrition as a doctor. My brother had one course, and it's completely the whole FDA 4 food group junky kind of nutrition advice. It's not real advice. It doesn't work. And that kind of also goes, unfortunately, for dietitians lots of the times. I have so many clients that come to me after being with a dietitian and having things not work for them, because they're also taught the conventional way of eating. So while I do have a lot of respect for their knowledge, I don't have respect for that type of their knowledge. They're not, because they just don't know any better. They're not educated differently. So how our bodies actually are biologically designed to work is very different than what they're told. And I have many, I don't know how many, probably 30 or 40 diabetic clients, that are like type 1 and type 2 diabetics. And I have all of them eating high fruit diets, light to heavy, low fat, high fruit diets, because it is not the sugar that causes diabetes. It's when you have sugar and fat in your bloodstream at the same time that causes overall problems for diabetics. It doesn't cause diabetes, it causes problems for diabetics. Diabetes, especially, or pre-diabetes, is almost always a factor of your lifestyle, whether that's not having enough exercise, whether it's the foods that you eat. Of course, it could be genetic too, in situations too. But 9 times out of 10, type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetes is completely reversible with dietary lifestyle changes. I've given this example before of a very dear friend of mine who was undiagnosed. When he finally got diagnosed, had a fasting blood sugar of 330. So I don't know if you're familiar with what blood sugar levels should be, but a healthy blood sugar is like around 90. And once you're at 200, you are like acting loopy and like you're a crazy person. So he was at 330 and having all kinds of problems. We had no idea. So he went overnight on 2 insulin shots a day, and all other kinds of things. And so we went on a diet overnight. I gave him a whole diet to do. And within a month, he was down to 1 insulin shot. And within 2 months, he was off both of his insulin shots. And he's now no longer a diabetic. And he's just maintaining a healthy lifestyle. So that is a really extreme case of real type 2 diabetes with major medication needed, completely reversed within less than 6 months of changing a diet and a lifestyle. And I included some exercising on his part too, walking and biking, nothing crazy. So, not to get off the beaten track, but it kind of all, interweaves. So I don't at all believe in the typical medical advice for diabetics, which is having sugar-free Jell-O and having sugar-free cakes and not having fruit. It is the complete opposite of what you should do. I would never recommend having anything that says sugar-free, fat-free, light. All of those foods are packed with chemicals, and they're nothing is going to heal you from those foods. You're much better off having a full fat product or even a full sugar product, believe it or not, than a light product with artificial sweeteners. But ideally, you're going to be mostly leaning on healthy whole fruits, vegetables, grains, nuts, seeds, all that kind of stuff should be the base of your diet. And of course, healthy protein too. Like I'm not against having eggs or chicken or fish, or I always recommend having really high quality grass fed, organic, pasture raised quality, produce. Animal products and dairy. So I don't know if that helps you, Catherine. That's a much bigger.
Well, yeah, because I used to do health coaching a long time ago, but my mother died of diabetes, and I had her in a certain place where she was doing much better, and then when she went home and she was around and then listening to the doctors, then it just kind of got worse, and that's how
Yeah.
they just kept skyrocketing and giving her more and more insulin, and that's how she died from all the complications and how it just rots the inside of your body. But I myself, I go to the doctor if I have to, but I'm not a fan. I'm the odd person in the family. I'm the anti everything. I'm not going to listen to the doctor first because I look at the numbers and research it, and then I want to do things more natural.
Right.
So, but there's all this controversy with the darn banana, and my husband loves bananas, and he's being told, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to find this out from someone who, like, I'm gonna say, I listened and I talked, and I'm like, she said, but anyway, because he's really, starting to listen and doing the cleansing and working on it with me on that kind of stuff. But and I noticed you mentioned fruits more in the morning and then more vegetables at night, like when you're doing the powder, the raw
That's
generation.
a separate situation.
Oh,
You can have vegetables and fruit anytime during the day that you want.
oh, okay.
The powder cleanse instructions I wrote in that way specifically because I didn't want people having the shakes mixed with the oat milk in the nighttime and then having fruit at the same time with it. So I recommended having the fruit in the morning and the vegetables in the evening just to make it a clear line for people without having to write a whole paragraph full of information as to why on the side of a box. So, because vegetables mix fine with fats, it's fruits that don't mix with fats very well. So you want to keep the fats and the fruits always separate. So that's why in my, when I recommend if you make a green smoothie in the morning, I don't put protein powder in, I don't put avocado or yogurt in it. It's just fruits, greens, and water, and I blend it. So this is my favorite green smoothie. I make this almost this time of year. It's just frozen bananas, dates, and parsley. I pack parsley into it because it's so high in vitamin C for this time of year. And my nieces and nephews call this my Grinch smoothie, and they ask for it every time they come to my house. They all love it. They'll drink glasses of this green stuff. So
You just you don't mix your fruits with your fats. Like even I do raw milk. I don't do oats or soy milk because I have allergy stuff to those.
okay.
So you just don't mix any kind of fat with your
I never do.
smoothies,
Me
nothing.
personally,
Okay.
it was more of a stomach issue for me. I don't digest them well together, but then I learned after studying that it's one of the major causes for bloating, for digestion problems, for weight gain, and also it really messes up people that are say pre-diabetic. So it's really better to have your fruit separate from your fat.
Ah.
Yeah.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm sorry. My name is Amy. I just joined and I've been trying to join for a very long time now, but I have a very complex work schedule. I'm a licensed medical massage therapist
Oh.
and I, always on the go, never a clean schedule as a 9 to 5 and all that other stuff. I work all day, every day sometimes, and then not for 3 days in a row. But anyway, that's who I am. Lisa, girl, I have been drinking celery juice for the last, I want to say 2 years,
Mm.
right? And at first, I was starting to buy the skinny package, and then it has two of the kind of shakes, the thicker meal replacements. And so, not because they weren't doing amazing things to my body, because everything is when I order from Juice Generation, but uh, Raw Generation, rather, sorry. But the celery was most productive. I got to give you this testimony because it's something that I've never experienced before. I'm a 58-year-old woman, okay? And so I've tried a lot of things and a lot of healthy, vegetarian is everything, right?
Right.
So nothing really worked. And I was always kind of chunky. And I just figured, hey, this is my life. Love me or leave me alone. I'm not going to do any more trying until I came across the celery juice. Lisa, I am at a weight right now that I wasn't since high school. And the precedence that the celery juice uh, makes the first thing that you drink,
Mhm.
it doesn't allow you to do junk food all day long.
It really changes your
Right?
cravings, right?
It
It's amazing.
changes from the gut. It doesn't make you interested in wanting to consume heavy or fatty, so I want to be consistent with the way my body feels when I consume the celery juice, and that's wonderful. It it has changed how I move my bowels and everything. Like it's so consistent. It never gives me a surprise. It's never paining. I got to go to the bathroom or anything like that. It's just nice,
Right.
comfortable. What? Oh my gosh. So I'm telling all my friends that, like, Amy, you're slim, you're keeping your secret. And I'm like, no, I've sent you the link a million times. Please just do it or leave me alone, because you're bothering me now, right? And everything fits, Lisa. So I guess I'm joining this Zoom call, and to thank you.
I'm so glad it's working for you.
Oh my goodness, it is so amazing. Clean foods is what I prefer, is what I'll buy. If I have to spend $5 to $10 extra just to have cleaner ingredients in my food, it's what my body is telling me to do. But since I've joined the Raw Generation and drink the celery juice, it's at the point right now where I can't do celery juice every morning. Yeah, I cannot. I have to do it every other or every 2 days.
Hmm.
And because it's been so long, it still sets that precedence of not following up with, a whole bunch of GMO products and, fatty foods and et cetera, et cetera. It's just
Right.
my skin. I look about 35 years old. I don't have to show you me now because I look a hot mess, but I feel great. and it's absolutely wonderful. So after all this time, and I see, the web joining, I just wanted to come on and say thank you, and that, I will continue to do this, and it's helping me in my health. My doctor couldn't believe. She's like, where'd 10 pounds go? And I said, somewhere. It didn't go on me,
Oh.
So thank you very much. And that's what I called to say.
Oh, thanks for letting us know. I love to hear it, for sure. I love to hear when the products are doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, for sure. So keep up the good work, girl. I'm a customer for life. Okay.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome, dear. My pleasure.
Lori, is Caroline still drinking the slippers?
Yes, she is. But she wants me to do her own specific
Did you see
mix.
there's a kids build a box now? Did you see? We just added that on.
Yes. So I have to do a build a box because she doesn't love the pink. But she likes the green, the orange, the yellow. Those are her favorites. So I said, sure, boss, next time, I will order it. And I've been doing the metabolism boost pills. Those are good too. And I feel like
I'd
they're
love to
doing
know your
some,
feedback on
I feel like
those.
they're, yeah, I feel like they're doing something. So I try and just do, like, I'll do 2 in the morning, afternoon, and night. And I did a half day cleanse actually with my mom a couple of weeks ago, and I ordered them with that. That was the first time she did it. So, but that was good too. I like the like, I'd rather do a half day cleanse like once a quarter, do something like that. The skinny for me for 3 days is so hard. Like, I used to be able to do it. It's so hard. But the half day cleanse was awesome. And the metabolism boost things are good too.
We have more. We're working on a whole line. Well, I should say I'm working on a whole line of pulp-based supplements like that. So people are
Yeah.
loving it, and so all our supplements are going to have this fruit and vegetable pulp as the base with like other functional ingredients. So we have like for hormones, for brain, for immunity, all different ones we're working on coming up.
Yeah.
So yeah,
No, they're great. And I have to follow up with my mom how she felt after, because my dad's been really sick, and so she's been running like. So I was like, Mom, she wanted to order it herself. She did. But I've been meaning to check in and see, like, what did you think overall? But
is your dad still drinking the juice? I know he's been fighting stuff.
he's not, it's like a whole thing. So he's not, but my mom, I'm just glad that my mom is like on board now because she's watched me do it for so long. And, she was there the Sunday that like we met. And so I feel like some of the things I've been doing are like kind of rubbing off on her, which is good. Cause I mean, she has to take care of herself and it's so crazy with him that, so no, he's not doing it, but I need her to keep working on herself and.
Call me anytime outside of work if you ever have questions for your dad, like,
Okay.
under our generation related,
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
of course.
But I have to run to a meeting, but
Okay.
I have been trying to hop on live for so long. Thank you and happy
Mhm.
holidays.
You too.
Thanks. Bye.
All of you guys, happy holidays. I hope you all have a
Thank you.
great holiday season. Does anyone have any last minute questions or should I just end this now? Just let me know.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for everything. I really appreciate you, and I will continue to spread the word and get you more customers because I'm physical proof that Raw Generation is the best, and I really do appreciate you, dear. Honest to goodness.
Oh, thanks, Amy. I'm so glad you came on. I really am. It's so nice to hear the testimonial.
Oh, my pleasure. Next time too, God willing. Have a wonderful day, dear.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Bye.